Hi guys, Doger here with a new video, and this video we are finally in the Mist of Pandaria open beta, I think, because I got it. I think everyone got it. Usually I don't get the betas, except if I pay for like a pre-order, then I do get it on the new retail expansions, but uh, I am now Mist of Pandaria. And I think after playing the private server a bit, because there was a private server for PvP a bit, but I didn't play too many classes. I just played Warlock and that's it. But now I'm testing a bit of every single class because I want to test what I'm going to main in Ace of Pandaria. And I forgot how good the expansion was, and I'm going to talk about it a bit. If you love PvP, you must know that Mists of Pandaria is probably a top one, not even top three, top one best PvP expansion experience in World of Warcraft, for multitude of reasons. And yes, we have a bit of rose tinted glasses because there is a lot of like CC going on. Although it's not micro CC, there is a lot of CC. A lot of classes have a bit too much, and that's why you had the pruning at Walls of Draenor and Legion afterwards. Um, every single class has a bit too much going on, especially specs. But I may say that it really feels like you're playing the class. If you're playing Shaman, you really play Shaman with specialization Elemental Shaman. But I think it is the most well-rounded class design expansion out there. If you're not thinking about like pure roleplay thing, then you would then think about classic and maybe TBC. But if you're thinking about like pure class design gameplay wise, Mist of Pandaria takes really the high standard. I'm going to talk a bit about that, and that's why I'm going to move my camera so you can see a bit. So I am on my Elemental Shaman. Do you know, as Elemental Shaman, and yes, you have those crappy talents, which I think they are not. I'm going to explain why, because I'm going to explain it right now. You know what? Because then I'm going to diverge a bit too much. I like those talents compared to Shadowlands. Yes, Shadowlands is a bit different. I prefer those talents than in Shadowlands because those are the class talents. It is not specific to the spec, it is specific to the class. So all three specs from Elemental from Shaman gets those talents, and you can swap whenever you want with those dusts, whatever it's called, Tomb of the Clear Mind. It doesn't really work on the beta, I think, so I'm not going to touch it too much. But you can swap whenever you want, and those talents are like high impact talents for your class. But you're going to say, but you lose so much from Cataclysm and Wrath because those have like real talent pages, and that's true. But you don't lose anything because everything is already baked into the spec. So it means that all the passives that you would get from those talents, all those things that you would lose technically because it's not a talent anymore, they are baked into the spec. For example, you have Lava Surge, you have Elemental Overloads, you have Elemental Reach, something you had to talent if you want to have a longer reach. That is already baked into the spell. You have Rolling Thunder, so whenever you're going to do Lightning Bolts, you get like a chance to get a charge on your Lightning Shield, so you can then expand with your Earth Shock. You have Shamanism, increasing the damage for Lightning Bolt. Those things are like already implemented in the talent. If you look at Cataclysm, you have talents that are like things that you must pick to play your spec. And that's the same for Rav, the same for TBC, the same for Vanilla. So those are already given to you. So every single talent that you would pick normally in the previous expansions, those are already given. And you have then also a page with core abilities. So they tell you literally how to play the game. Keep applied to the target, which is Flame Shock. Lightning Shield yourself at all times. Earth Shock, cast when you have 7 charges of Lightning Shield. So you then also have those procs from your lightning bolt that you would get from your lightning shield. For example, right now I have 5. If I have 7, You expand that with Earthshock, and then you go back to building up. You have Lava Burst cost when available. It has a CD, 8 seconds, but you also have Ascendance, which is going to remove the CD of Lava Burst, and that's your big go. You have also your Lightning Bolt, which you can cast while moving. Yes, you can actually cast Lightning Bolt while moving without Spirits Walker's Grace. Something I wish retail has. And now I'm coming to my point. I think Mists of Pandaria has the best class design because they actually give the tools necessary to deal with high mobility. So you don't need to, and every class has mobility, so you don't need to exaggerate mobility on specific classes, and it feels a bit more fair. You also are not kited into infinite. You can still be kited into infinite, but it's a bit more balanced in the way that every single class can a bit do everything, and that's why a lot of people refer to Mists of Pandaria like being able to be thriving into the chaos, and basically everything is OP, so nothing is OP. But I truly believe like casting lightning bolts while moving is like something that is necessary, in my opinion. It is necessary. And you have that as well as a warlock. You can also cast while moving. How it's called? Incinerate with a talent. That's something that I believe is great. Now, what other things that I can also talk about? Do you remember a time where you had shamanistic rage? Yes, shamanistic rage as an elemental shaman. Yes, you have shamanistic rage as an elemental shaman that you can cast while you're stunned. It has a 1 minute CD, duration of 15 seconds. You also have Astral Shift, so you have both. Do you understand what I mean? It means that in 2v2, you can actually survive enough to be able to do 2v2 double DPS, which is very fun. And threes, the games are a bit. Is it dampening? Games are long. From my understanding, from what I've known and from private servers, it's a bit long if it's played well. That is it is what it is on the end of the day. But that's more of a I think it is like this. Maybe once Mists of Pandaria is coming out, season 1 is going to come out, like phase 1 of Mists of Pandaria. I might be wrong, but I think truly that I like the aspect of that my class can actually defend itself without a healer. And that's something in retail that I truly lack. I feel like if you don't have a healer, you get blown up in a lot of regards. And I miss the part where whenever I'm a hybrid as elemental shaman, for example, I'm capable to do a healing tide totem. I have healing tide totem as elemental shaman. That's crazy good. It is actually a lot of healing. It heals for 12,000 health. It pulses every 2 seconds for 10 seconds, so 5 times 12,500. It is over 100. It's over 75,000 healing just purely with healing tide totem on a 331k health player, and I think it's quite nice to have that. I think also my healing surges are also healing for a lot, like 30k. It's 10% of my HP, which is better than what we have in retail, in my opinion. I also feel like, in general, the class balance is, like I said, chaotic, but it's because like every single class can actually defend itself without the need of like another class. Every class can AoE, every class can single target. A lot of the things are baked with a spell. For example, as a warlock, you have fire and brimstone as your destruction warlock. If you toggle it, it becomes AoE for incinerate, conflags, immolate. Everything becomes AoE except chaos bolt. And if you don't want to AoE, you don't want to break CC, you can toggle it off. Okay, and that's what I miss with retail, where a lot of the AoE is baked into the single target abilities with a lot of talents. And yes, you can avoid those talents, but sometimes you cannot. And you just spread damage at all times. It feels like in Miss Pandaria, at least you have a lot of the choices. For example, you have Chain Lightning, which is something you're not going to use except in AoE situations because it is just a like it's a fast cast. Obviously, you can cast it all the time if you want to. It costs a lot of mana though, so you don't want to cast that every single time because you're going to get and getting in Mr. Pandaria as a DPS is kind of sucky. So I would not do that. But again, it gives you the choice to be able to do AoE, and I can say that for a lot of classes. I also think that if you love having a lot of abilities, a lot of agency, in general, Miss Pandora can actually give that to you. In retail, you have a lot of abilities, but it feels like it's a lot of CDs. In Miss Pandora, you also have a lot of CDs. You have obviously your Fire Elemental Totem, you have Hitting Tide Totem, you have also your Stormlash Totem, you have obviously your Grounding Totem, you have your Shamanistic Rage, which is a 1 minute CD, you have Astral Shift, which is a 1.5 minute CD, which you could also say, oh, I don't care about Astral Shift, I just want to have Storm Bulwark Totem, and that's also fine. You can also go for Nature's Guardian. You have a lot of choices, and I do believe like it is the most well-rounded expansion that we can now actually say that it is probably top one after like a retrospect of like Dragonflight, which I found it was very good until that they didn't fix any queue times, they didn't fix the MMR in time. They kind of ruined with balancing sometimes where they took too long because of AWC. They didn't want really to balance changes because they didn't want to change the balancing because of like competitive integrity, which is fine, but they can also open a tournament realm without those changes, but that's how League of Legends does, but whatever. And I feel like they dropped the ball. In The War Within, they also dropped the ball multiple times. Again, they still have the same issues as a Dragonflight. The only thing that really will lack for Mr. Pandaria to be like the greatest success ever would be actually two things. For example, like active balancing. If they actually did a bit of active balancing, I know like no changes, whatever, but if they did active balancing, it would be a very good Miss Pandaria. It would be fun to be able to raid every single raid or PvP every single phase. It would be fresh because every single phase will be different because you will have a bit of balancing, and the bad players, the bad specs would have their time in the sun. That's what I would like to have, but I don't think it will happen. And the other thing which I think needs to happen, but I don't know if they're going to be ready to do that. I wish they can actually do that, but it's actually a solo queue version of 3v3, not solo shuffle, just solo queue like in private servers. You queue up solo, you get a healer with you and another DPS versus a team of like solo queuers with a healer and double DPS, and you play versus each other. One round, you win, you lose. Those are the points. You could also do a BO3, like best of 3. That's also fine, but I would like to see that. I want to see that. I think the conquest change that they did in Cataclysm way before than what it was. Normally, it was still arena points. They made conquest like in retail. That's like a fantastic change. That really made Cataclysm a bit more fun to grind. And with Pandaria, the gearing is very good. You only need PvP gear, crafting and enchanting and whatnot. That's always going to be quite useful. But like you don't need to do any PvE to be competitive. Now imagine a world where you have solo queue, and that would revive a lot of the negativity around Miss Pandaria Classic, because I think the few things that are negative about Miss Pandaria Classic is obviously I think people are going to play only one season and then they're going to be gone. That's just the nature of what it is. And once you have played one balancing patch, you have seen everything what you have to see. There is no thrill of waking up to a patch note where your class gets better, for example, or worse. You don't have that. And the meta can be stale. I wonder how the meta will evolve, if it will be a lot of like a very meta heavy arena season or not. Um, but yeah, I look forward to those changes. I look forward to Misa Pandaria Classic. I think the leveling is going to be quite fun the first time. Um, I think the specs and the classes are going to be quite thrilling to just play and test around, and doing BGs to get the honor gear, then arenas to obviously get the conquest gear, the improvement gear, I would say. And yeah, I think I'm going to play a lot with my friends. I have a lot of friends that are going to play Miss Pandaria. I know a lot of people that are going to play Miss Pandaria for a lot of reasons. I think my main reason is I really like the gameplay. The gameplay is taking me back. I think Miss Pandaria was also a time where I did play a lot World of Warcraft. Even when League of Legends was out, I was still playing Mr. Pandaria. While Cataclysm was a time where I didn't really play too much because that was the start of League of Legends. And I played also other games. But Mr. Pandaria was really, really, really great. I remember a lot of the negativity came from Pandas and Pandaria and like the people that left for the wrong reasons, but everyone will tell you that it was actually a good expansion. It just the last patch was very, very long, but since it's classic, you will not have that issue normally with the phases. But I just wait to see. Again, thank you for watching this video. Really appreciate you. Hopefully, you do get excited about Miss Pandaria Classic. I might make a few videos here and there about like the class changes, what you should expect about those classes. Should you not main that class? I'm going to do very quick videos about that. Probably the week when I have a bit more time. I can already tell that the Shaman is going to be very fun. Enhancement Shaman, Elemental Shaman. I mean, if you play retail, I think you're going to not want to come back to retail once you have played Elemental Shaman from this expansion and Enhancement Shaman from this expansion. Ascendance feels really like a god mode like spell to use. You have a lot of things that you can look forward to, like an Elemental Blast, or you can say, look, I want to Unleashed Fury, why not? You could also go for Primal Elementalist. You have a lot of choices that you can go for, and it is actually meaningful. You could also go for Elemental Mastery here. A lot of stuff. So again, thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye.